Mm-hmm. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on what time zone you're in or what time you're watching the video. Today we are back with Ren. Lost all faith. And I, for one, have full faith that this is going to be a banger of a track. In fact, Rob has already informed me that this one is pretty epic. Because I couldn't listen to it at school, but oh man, I'm very excited to listen to it now. I hope you're excited to listen with me. Without further ado, let's jump right in, shall we? Love you all. I'm so excited.
Mate, I'm in a bit of a rush right now. You're sick, guy. Thanks, mate. You're sick, boy. I've got to get out of this train, mate. I'm really sorry. I'm talking to you. Hey, can I get a quick picture?
Bro, come on.
Cheeky little picture, but I've really got to go, mate. I'm sorry, man. Alright, fine, quickly.
I like he giggles a little bit there. But dude, yo, you know how frustrating that must have been for Ren? Like, I'm just thinking about it now. Like, he's someone who's going through so much stuff, and like, obviously he wants to engage with the people who love his music and the people in his life, but sometimes you're just going through so much and you just need a break, and so you kind of just want to be to yourself, but then you have people recognizing you all over the place now, and it's like, hey, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? And think about the dichotomy of what that person said. They said Sick Boy, right? They know him as Sick Boy. Sick Boy does mean his rap album, which is dope as heck and it's sick, but also Sick Boy comes from his heart. He was sick. He was ill. They're all gonna work in the same way because they can all be flipped, but like, he was literally feeling sick internally, and that's kind of what produced a lot of that album, and he's still experiencing that probably in this moment that he's recalling for us, or like, I guess, imagining for us. But still, amidst all that, he has to somehow trudge through even the fame, and that becomes its own burden. God damn, man. Wow.
I'm a charming fella, I like drinking cans of Stella. See, I'm living for the weekend, bag of babs and salmonella. Cinderella story raps, the richest minute full propeller. I'm Nigella Lawson, stacking mozzarella. Only joking, I'm an introvert alone.
No, hang on. We gotta go back a second. First of all, wait, did the colors just change again? Are we getting like a humble switch up where we get two different styles? Like, I don't want to look ahead, but like where we get like two different color palettes to represent different moods, because that's pretty baller. I loved when we did that. But something that's cool here is he talks about like how he is a Cinderella story, right? He came up from nothing, rags to riches. And what's also cool about that is Cinderella, when you really think about it, is a story about an individual who had so much to give inside, but was judged for the way that they looked. And I'm sure that's exactly how Ren has felt for a very long time. And he's got this like braggadocious style that we've got going here, but we know it wasn't always like that, right? He wasn't always spinning like a propeller, rising up into the sky like a plane. That wasn't how it always was. It was times of darkness, and I think that's what we're about to get to here, that kind of led up to that. And when people kind of only see that side of him, that like braggadocious side, they might never really truly understand all that it's taken for him to get to here. That's dope. Oh my god. I'm not actually sure who Nigella Lawson is. Give me 1 second. Oh, that's cool. So it's an individual who got famous for being a food writer, and so he says, I'm stacking mozzarella like them, which is like stacking the cheese. That's like a double play too, because yeah, he probably has to cook all his own food, right? The way that he, like, because his diet is so strict, but then on top of that, he's literally stacking cheddar like money. Dude, that's baller. Gosh darn. Okay, I'm gonna go back.
Stacking mozzarella. Only joking, I'm an introvert, alone inside my room because my insides hurt. I contemplate existence with consistency.
Yeah.
My polo shirt and reassert my confidence with compliments I don't deserve. I calm my nerves by plotting today that I might leave this earth. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Pain is my shepherd, my sword and my shield. I find my refuge in patience and pills. A patient that's patiently waiting for help. I don't ever seem to feel well. Can anybody save me from myself? There's blood on the leaves where I fell.
Bro. Oh god damn. Oh my god. Yo, Rob, you said the production was ill, and you were 100% correct. This is so fire. But damn, just the I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back a second because the color makes me look like a peach. But like going back to the lyrics for a second and the imagery, like we get this shot of the world burning as he's talking about like the trying to calm his nerves with thoughts of the day he might leave this earth. And I think there's a dichotomy to that too, because like in his darkest times we saw he contemplated leaving this earth by choice. But on top of that, think about what he's also saying. He has visions of how he wants to leave the earth, like the mark he wants to leave on earth, which is such a brilliant way to kind of juxtapose those two. And then one of the things here we get a lot, and I always find it shocking when someone like Ren or Matthew Mercer, and not shocking, I guess it's just I internally I struggle because I wish they didn't feel it, but you can see the sense of imposter syndrome, right? He doesn't necessarily feel like he deserves all that he's getting, and we get that through the music, right? We get that through the song. This dichotomy of like, yeah, I'm this braggadocious person, but also this is how I feel internally at times, and like that's the thing you might never see if you don't know who Ren is, but he gives it to us, his vulnerability, and I love that it is, I think, like juxtaposing the colors against each other too to show the different emotions or different moods that he can be in. And even when we got to like kind of the mix of them, there's like a grayish palette, which is super cool. I really, really like that. But something that was also interesting is he does say like, I lift up my eyes like to the hills, which is like the ups in life. He's not just looking at like, oh, it's not the downward stuff, it's the ups, the climbs, the struggles that really he remembers, and it makes it makes him who he is, in the sense that pain is not only his shepherd, his guide, it's also his sword and his shield, because it gave him the strength to keep pushing, and it's through his pain, it's through those drops in the bucket that he continues to push and strive forward. And in that we also get shots of like the pills, which takes me back to diazepam, because he suffered with addiction, right? He suffered with addiction as a result of not like he clearly used drugs before, but also like as a result of the treatment that he was undergoing. And he even says he's a patient that's patiently waiting because he's hoping for a better future. And even then he's thinking about how he might leave this earth and whether that future involves a better side to his world. And oh my God, guys, this is like, you know, like I always expect rap to be sick, like from Ren, like it's gonna be wicked to listen to, but like when he's one of the few artists that can do rap in a way that makes you want to listen to the song again and again, but still drive home this really hard-hitting message, because he even says like, can anybody save me from myself? Because it's his own mind that's preying on him, you know what I mean? He's going to war, but it's with himself. It's the dichotomy of Ren. It's his ups and his downs, and they're colliding all the time. One of the other cool things he says here is there's blood on the leaves where I fall or fell, right? But that reminds me of fall, like the season, and like the colors changing, and maybe he's going through this metamorphosis to become a different person. And in that place he finds like he's literally bleeding out and going through these changes. And on top of that, what comes after fall? Well, it's winter. And think about what winter represents metaphorically. It's the cold, difficult part of life, and that's like the hills. And he takes us right back there. Bro, come on. Like what? Oh my God, dude, I gotta go back a bit because I think I need to go back to where I feel like this chorus started. I don't know if this is the chorus, but Jesus. Oh, and there we go from I've lost all faith being blue and a brick wall to him breaking out of that brick wall and using that lost faith to be like, no, I'm not standing for this. I'm going further. I'm changing the world. And he's literally doing that. And we even get this like double side to him where it's like he thinks about like the law and order, and then he craves disorder where it's all kind of red and you can see that's kind of his like rebel side, but then he gets that deep blue where he's in his own head, trapped in walls and wire or barbed wire where he feels trapped. Bro. And then even earlier we saw like along with the imagery there was like walls, and I don't know if there was bruises on the walls, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were, like to go back to How to Be Me. He's creating this intertwined web of beautiful music that connects on so many different levels. I'm always freaking blown away. I'm sorry if this video gets a little bit longer, but god damn, this is fire. This production.
I'm a geezer on the streets. Mona Lisa, this is art. Make her Mona Lisa, she needs money. Eeny, meeny, miny, Mohammed, Abi Ali. Pleased to meet you, mate. Who's the G? Not me, I'm a regular guy. Halitosis with psychosis, omens etched in my mind. Overdosed on pills and potions, a collection of mine.
Yeah.
Split a Valium with a Zanny and I mix it with wine. Oi, pull yourself together, mate. Pull yourself together.
Spit of, oh my god, because the music he creates also helps you kind of relax, or it helps him relax. So not only does he spit the pill, but he also spits the music that makes himself feel a little bit better, because that's what his music is. It's his therapy. I also really like you've awoke a beast. I'm a geezer, but think about what that means is because he has an old soul. You know what I mean? And on top of that, when you think about people that are like geezers, you think of like someone who's kind of angry, and he is angry. He's angry at the world. And then he talks about Mona Lisa, this is art. And this is something I actually want to go back to revisit Love Music Part 4 for. But the way he talks about art, when he talks about all this like sexualization, a lot of the times he's actually alluding to him making music. And that's how primal it is for him. It's actually so like ingrained. It's like literally like the drive and the urge for sex, which is a basic requirement for humans. Bro, to parallel those two just blows my mind. God damn. Okay. And then I'm sorry. The other thing is like the halitosis and psychosis, and this is what I was saying earlier. Like he's going through so much, right? And he's experiencing all this trouble, and it's what leads him down this road to kind of use pills, use drugs, use whatever kind of negative habits can help him feel better. And if they help him feel better, like obviously, okay, we've gone down this road. I'm gonna try to stay away from that. I'm gonna go back to just this song alone. But like that's what he was going through. He's had this like concoction. I love how he calls it like a potion. The way it's almost like you think of someone brewing something up, and he talks of himself as the alchemist a lot. And so now that almost gives a double meaning to the word alchemy. Not only is he producing a concoction in his music of multiple different genres, but he's also producing this concoction of like medicines for himself. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
A Valium with a Zanny and I mix it with wine. Oi, pull yourself together.
Oh, and sorry, even there, the colors, right? Again, there's this hyped version of himself. We get the yellow, we get the red. This kind of lackluster sense of internal struggle, we get the blue.
Oi, pull yourself together, mate. Pull yourself up, stand up straight. Look at you, you're such a mug. God, you're such a fucking state. Honestly, I wouldn't be seen dead with you in public. Depressed and disorderly, it's like you fucking love it. Maybe you're right, maybe it's friend. Do it again and again and again. Maybe I'm high, maybe I'm meant to live in a cycle of anti-survival like man. In the prism like Ben, shot the iris of the land. Make believe and play pretend. God's my witness at the end. With God as my witness, I walk through the valley of the shadow of sickness. I fear no evil, I need no forgiveness. Deliver me from temptation, he never listens. I don't ever seem to feel well. Can anybody save me from myself? There's blood on the leaves where I fell, coming down.
Where I fell coming down, I didn't even think about it, but like where he fell coming down the hill. You know what I mean? And that's what tripped him up, was coming down the hill where it's supposed to be easy. Bro, like, come on. How do you write like this? But on top of that, like when he's looking, like kind of speaking to himself, he's always kind of hard on himself, right? Whereas to other people, he shows so much support, but it's to himself that he's rough, right? He's a ruffian. He even says, look at you, you're such a mug. God, you're such a state, right? And yet, if it was someone else going through that, and isn't this true about like almost everybody on the planet? If someone else is going through, you'd be like, no, it's okay. You're gonna be okay. But you have so much trouble saying that to yourself, especially if you're experiencing imposter syndrome, which is what he kind of alluded to at the start. And just like, I'm so impressed by the way that he writes. And then he says, I wouldn't be seen dead with you in public. Bro, what a crazy way to say that, because he's literally kind of bleeding himself to us, for us all to see. And it is that side of Ren where he looked, I shouldn't say that. It's kind of like, it is his hardships and the struggles that we connected with most. And so in a way, it's almost like he was hindering himself from the rise by trying to be so braggadocious. And it's finding his strength in his pain that gave us who he is and gave us the strength to continue as well in many ways. Bro, Ren is an animal. Like, what is this? Holy smokes. I need to go back again because I missed the second part a little bit, because now that I'm talking about the first part, I lose the second part. This is why I had to stop.
Honestly, I wouldn't be seen that with you in public. Depressed and disorderly, it's like you fucking love it. Maybe you're right, maybe it's fine.
And he does.
Again and again and again. Maybe I'm high, maybe I'm meant to live in a cycle of anti-survival like that. In a prism like Ben, shot the iris of the land. Make believe and play pretend. God's my witness at the end.
Dude, come on. In a prism light bend, so it's like he feels like he's not even just prison, but using the word almost like a slant to be prison. Right, so in a prison also light bends, and that's what he felt like he was trapped in. That's why we got that tunnel of light at the end. And think about what light is to him. It's like escape, right? And light can be used in many ways. It can be like, oh, the light is a good thing. You go towards the light. Outside of like the thought of death, light usually means happiness, right? Or you can think of it the other way and say light as in the like death, right? As in go towards the light. And for him, it was both, right? Because he didn't know. They started getting mixed, and then in his mind, the light bends. So it's like a prism. It bends light, and that's what happens. Like if you shine a light through a prism, it literally goes in another direction. So he couldn't even see the light in his prison. He just felt trapped in that mindset. That's, oh my God, dude. And then shut the iris on the lens. So like your lens, like he's closing his eyes because that's where he just needs to go into his mind and imagine the future. Because anytime he reaches out to God or when he prays for God, he even though he even says here, God is my witness, because he's saying, even you're watching, but you're not doing anything for me, so I'm going to do it myself. He says, deliver me from temptation, but he never listens. And so he says, forget it. I'll do this myself. And he's literally going to pull up his like bootstraps and just go. But my favorite line there was probably, I walk through the valley of the shadow of sickness, because the sickness to him is so akin and close to death that it already felt like he was dead as a result of being sick for a very long time. He felt dead inside. Holy, just
believe and play pretend. God's my witness at the end. With God as my witness, I walk through the valley of the shadow of sickness. I fear no evil, I need no forgiveness. Deliver me from temptation, he never listens. I don't ever seem to feel well. Can anybody save me from myself? There's blood on the leaves where I fell, coming down. Burn the border, sons and daughters, law and order. Brave disorder, praise myself. Ways have come too late. I've lost my faith. I've lost my faith. Could you be the one? Yeah, no, could you be the one? Yeah, no, could you be the one? Good, could you be the one? Up my eyes to the hill.
Oh, and there's
my sword and my shield. I find my refuge in patience and pills. Could you be the one?
Bro, what in the actual cosmic universe was this song? Oh my God. Even the visuals towards the end, it's like the starry night with the eyes opening up. It's like he feels watched in the darkness, but also think about what stars mean to him. It's all the it's like the lives out there, right? Each light represents a life, and so it's almost like he feels like he's being watched by everybody in this strange way, or even watched by those who have passed, and in a way that's those that are helping him go forward up the hill, bro. And then on top of that, we get the pills that start to distort the light. Like you can actually see it starting to kind of almost bend and become translucent, but also it later on is what kind of casts him away from the light. And so he starts to realize that slowly. And then it's that cycle of kind of, oh, where was the mirror shot? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find, I might not. Oh, here. The cycle of kind of his broken internal, the way he feels inside and the way he feels on the outside, that leads into this vicious cycle of like trauma and struggle and pain internally. Oh my God. And he's constantly looking at himself, right? Like he's always looking in the mirror, and then we get that mirror cycle shot. Yo, I don't think it's possible to cover like everything that he did in this song because this was like mind blowing, guys. This was like so fantastical. The production was a riot. I don't even think I've heard a song like this, especially towards the end, that distortion that we get when he starts to revisit, kind of almost like he's revisiting his mind and starting to rearrange things. We get that distortion, and then finally when it is rearranged, we kind of get that it normalizes, and we get that last little bit of "I lift up my eyes to the hill" again. Oh my god! And the lyricism, as always, is just ridiculous. The master of converting experience and pain into something palpable, right? I like you can always relate in some way, shape, or form. Every single person who listens to a Ren song can relate in some way to what he's feeling, and then even at the end, like it's that almost restoration we're trying to reach for at the end, right? A restoration to faith, but we end with the same blue, and it's almost like the cycle's repeating. Yo, man, Ren, I don't know if you're ever gonna watch this, but dude, I don't understand how you do this all the time. The sheer amount of like creativity and art, just like you are leaking it, brother. It's ridiculous. I've never been so enthralled by an artist. Like this is I don't even know what to say. I think I'm just in awe of the being or the person that Ren has become, and the struggles that it took to get here, and the vulnerability it took to put all this out. Just ridiculous, man. God, I love it so much. Dude, keep being you. Keep being amazing. And everyone, we need to let him know that he's the freaking best. This is fantastic. He's so good. I'm just fawning. I'm gonna stop now. Holy smokes. I hope that your week is better than your day, your month is better than your week, and your year is better than your month. I'm gonna go re-listen to that. See you guys in a bit. Hopefully, love you all. See you on the next one. Oh man.